everybody, welcome back for part 2 of my Inflation RPG walkthrough. Today I have some really interesting topics, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So I've brought up a good picture of the first map, and I'll kind of walk you through this one a little bit, and then I'll talk about map 2 in a little bit more detail. So as you can see, there are 6 areas in map 1, and I've gone over the starting area, the desert area, and the cave in a previous video, so I'll talk about the other areas. Below the starting area, which is labeled on the map, is a relatively useless area with no notable drops or monsters. To the north, you head into the castle, where you fight the Dragon Rider boss for a base level. If you can go even further north, you'll reach the Eye boss, in the actual level 5200 zone. He has an extremely rare chance to drop an XP gem +1, +2, and +3. But you can buy the XP gems +1 and 2, and he likely won't drop the +3 XP gem, as I've never seen that drop even from my main account. Instead, he will be fought to get to the second map. If you look at the top left hand corner, there is a legend. It's basically telling you that the big red dots on the map are the boss battles, and the line running through the map is the optimal trajectory. If you've finished with your money grinding, the optimal trajectory would be the most beneficial path for you to take on your run. However, this path assumes that you have no battles in between your boss fights. We've got a ways to go before that matters, so let's move on to the next map. As you can see, this map is definitely a little bit larger, so I will break it down for you guys. Starting out, the area that you're in has nothing significant, except for the fact that levels here go up kind of quickly, so be careful. Now, if you go south, you'll be back inside of a stronger version of the castle type area, in which the level shoots up from 8880 to 9800 and then to 10,000, so mind yourself in these areas if you're not yet properly equipped. If you go further south through the 10,000 zone, you'll hit a fiery area filled with lava. This area contains 2 of the 4 elemental bosses. The bosses you'll find here are the Thunder boss at the bottom right of the area and the Fire boss at the bottom left. Both of these are marked on the map I've provided. Now, the Fire boss can drop a Fire Sword +1, which is relatively useless at this point if you have a Battle Axe, but the Thunder boss can drop a Thunder Sword +1, which is a good first late game weapon at 310% damage. If you head to the right of the lava area, you'll come across an area filled with grass. On the top right hand corner of this area is the Wind boss, which drops the Wind Sword +1. It is a relatively useless sword. However, one thing to note about this area is that in the actual level 13,333 zone, you can receive rare armor from the green Chinese dragon. This is a great late game armor set which surpasses the magic armor received in the desert. The rare armor has a defense bonus of 320%. Heading to the left of the lava map, you'll come across an area filled with ice. Here you will find the Ice boss. He drops the Ice Sword +1, which is another sword that is relatively useless. However, no weapon in this game is truly useless, and I'll go more into detail about that later in this video. The ice area can also give you an opportunity at the rare armor in the 13,111 zone. It is dropped by the blue Chinese dragon this time. If you head south of the lava area, you'll come across an area in which the level rises extremely quickly. In the area before you go in, the level is 12,222. Once you go into this area, the level goes straight to 14,700, and then up to 16,900 within another 2 zones. So if you're not careful, this could easily be the death of you, especially once you reach hard mode. If you can make it through this area, you will enter a small maze-like area. Heading to the left is useless, but if you head to the right and follow the path, you will come out into the middle in front of the purple equilibrium boss, which doesn't drop anything too useful, but he will take you to the next area. Now, if you were to instead sneak around the purple equilibrium boss and head further south to the next area then to the right, you will find the boss Orochi. Orochi is fairly strong compared to his zone level, so be prepared when fighting him, but he drops the elusive XP gems +3 and +4. These gems are extremely rare, however they are very beneficial, and eventually in late hard mode they are absolutely necessary. Now let's move on to my next 2 runs and what my strategy was going in. On my first run, I focused hard on making some money and looking for the Battle Axe. Unfortunately, the Battle Axe did not drop on this run, but instead I decided to kill the Sphinx for a quick base level, and to get the bit of extra money for a weapon, so I could focus the next run on killing the Dragon Rider boss. In the end, I made enough money off of run 2 to get an HP gem +1 and a broadsword, and I also got myself sufficiently ready to raid the Dragon Rider boss on run 3. During run 3, I personally think I got a bit more lucky. I was able to quickly and easily kill the Fox boss, and then I headed for the Dragon Rider boss. In an unrealistic attempt at saving battle points, I ended up dying to him, but I killed him shortly after with enough battle points to head to the desert and kill the Sphinx boss for more battle points. I headed there and then killed the Sphinx with ease and continued to money grind. To my surprise, I came out with a battle axe and enough money to buy an HP gem plus 1, an XP gem plus 1, and a luck gem plus 2. With this setup, I should be ready to start money grinding efficiently. Moving on from my runs, I'd like to now just point out that my videos will all be sped up except for in certain occasions. Some things that will slow down though are when I get a rare drop, when I buy something new in the store, and once I'm finished my run on the final screen. If you do have any feedback on the format of my videos, feel free to comment and I'll definitely take it into consideration. Let's now move on into some things you will need to know when it comes to allocating stat points. First of all, let's go through each skill and talk about them individually. To start, HP is obviously how much health you have in battle. Being strategic with your HP would mean allocating only what you need to HP vitally, and focusing most of your stat points on other skills. Now let's talk about attack and defense. I'm going to group them together because in my gameplay they are equally important. These skills make you do more and take less damage respectively. Depending on the type of run you are doing, 90% of your stat points may be put into attack and defense. However, in 2 occasions, your attack and defense will be much less invested into. The first being on a money grind, where after you kill the Sphinx, every stat point goes into luck. And the next is any time you're looking to farm an item, which ends up being common. Keep in mind when investing in attack and defense that your equipment, especially later on, can drive you pretty far, and later on you will use this to your advantage. Now let's talk about the agility skill. This skill is rarely used, however it can be used strategically in some cases. This skill raises your chance to do a combo. It also very slightly raises your chance to critical. In cases where you are wearing a gem to increase agility by a lot, it can be helpful for certain boss battles, but it's not recommended to allocate many stat points to this skill. And finally, let's go into a small amount of detail about luck as I've touched on it previously. As I've said before, luck increases gold gain and it increases drop chance, but it can also increase your chance to critical, which is also very useful. Let's talk about how much the drop rate of something is increased by luck. I personally don't know the formula, but what I do know is that 1 luck is a 1 times multiplier on a drop chance. At roughly 33k luck, it's up to a 2 times multiplier. In order to get a 3 times multiplier, it's close to 200,000 luck. But if you wanted a 4 times luck multiplier, unfortunately it's impossible because it would take a whopping 3.8 million luck to reach that. This is why 200,000 is considered the luck cap. Now I'm going to touch on the individual benefits of all of the accessories and a strategy for which order to buy them in. First, let's talk about skill gems. There are 6 different levels of each skill gem and they all increase their respective stat. Most of these won't matter as they don't do enough to be worth the accessory slot, but the high level gems are a different story. All of the different HP gems can be useful at the beginning of your run. Just equip your highest level HP gem and you won't get one hit by enemies that you could potentially have killed if you had more health. One example is the first boss fight of your run if it's your first fight. Just remember to swap it out after you've invested some points into HP so you don't waste an accessory slot. The level 4 and 5 attack and defense gems can also be beneficial. However, they are dropped by their respective crystal bosses in a secret area that will be touched on later in this video. Next, the agility gem plus 5 can be beneficial when fighting hard bosses, but is rarely used. And last but not least is the luck gems. These are all important except the original luck gem and the luck gem plus 1. The higher level luck gems can help with money grinding, getting drops, and later on wasting less stat points. One thing to note about all skill gems is that their plus 5 versions are significantly better than their plus 4 versions. One example is the attack gem plus 4, which gives you 20,000 attack, while the plus 5 version will give you 130,000. The last type of skill gem which is rarely used is the play gem. Only the play gem plus 2 is beneficial, and it only becomes powerful once you've played a lot. Basically, every game you finish makes your play gem add 30 agility, 40 defense, and 40 attack. This is easy to exploit, but also hard to find as they are a rare drop from the Rainbow Crystal boss in the secret area. Next you have your XP gems, which are all useful and you should definitely be using your best ones every run. The original EXP gem increases your EXP gained by 10%. The EXP gem plus 1 increases your EXP gained by 20%. The EXP gem plus 2 increases your EXP gained by 30%. The EXP gem plus 3 increases your EXP gained by 50%, and the EXP gem plus 4 increases your EXP gained by 60%. The next accessory to mention is the hero gems. All dropped by the rainbow crystal, they increase all of your stats at once. The original hero gem increases all stats by 30,000. The hero gem plus 1 increases all stats by 60,000, and the hero gem plus 2 increases all stats by 120,000. However, the plus 1 and plus 2 versions are only found in hard mode. Now the next thing to talk about is the stat point crystals. The stat point crystal is dropped in the white special area, which can be accessed by the exclamation point zone. I will go more into detail on how to access this zone later on. The stat point crystal increases your stat points received by 1, and the plus 1 version increases it by 2. What this means is that for every level up, instead of gaining 4 stat points per level, you'll gain 5 or 6, which adds up immensely and can really help out to accomplish runs you couldn't before. Next is the Proof of Hero, which is a rare accessory dropped in the ? Zone, which increases your character ability effect by 50%. This raises the amount of skill points you'll receive passively by percentage based on the character you picked and the stats base amount. The other powerful accessories that you can get from the ? Zone include the Critical Rate Ring, the Combo Rate Ring, the Recovery Necklace, and the Revival Necklace, as well as some stronger accessories in hard mode. Next is the Critical Damage Ring, which can be bought, and it definitely helps a lot. The first critical ring can also be bought and is used sometimes based on if a guaranteed crit is important. The 2 critical and 3 critical rings can be dropped in the ? Zones, but only in hard mode. The next thing I'll talk about is Recovery Necklaces. The small one can be bought for 1.7 million gold and heals back 1.9% of the damage you deal. The regular Recovery Necklace can be dropped in the ? Zones by the girl in red who has wings. Her name is the Succubus Queen, and the Recovery Necklace heals 3.8%. One thing to note about the Recovery Necklaces is that they don't stack. If using 2, only one will have effect, and if you use both kinds, the game will use the small necklace instead of the regular one. The last few accessories are pretty basic, so I'll blast through them. We've got the plus encounter ring, which makes the encounter gauge take longer to fill, and the minus encounter ring, which does the opposite. We have the instant encounter ring, which allows you to initiate a battle whenever you want, but your encounter gauge will still fill. There's the movement gem and its plus 1 variation, which makes you move faster across the map. And finally, we have the battle point rings. The first few battle point rings can be bought, but the plus 2 and plus 3 versions drop from the Black Equilibrium boss and the boss in the middle of the 37,777 zone. The plus 2 can also be dropped by the Yellow Equilibrium. The original battle point ring will give you 1 battle point, the plus 1 version gives you 3 battle points, the plus 2 version gives you 5 battle points, and the plus 3 version gives you 7 battle points. And that's it for the accessories. As for the strategy, I personally go for the HP gem I need and all my luck gems first. Then I get my equipment out of the way, and then the rest of the accessories won't matter too much in which order you buy them. But it's worth noting that the battle point rings can also extend your money grind runs. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is the secret areas, and some benefits of each. The first zone that can bring you to a secret area is the triple exclamation point zone. This zone can be accessed once you've collected 19 of the first 33 weapons, or 12 of the first 15 armors. This zone can drop some decent items at mid-normal mode, but the drops stop being worth it once you're able to do a 100,000 level run. The next zone will bring you to the white secret area, and it is the exclamation point zone, which can be accessed once you've collected a total of 37 weapons. And this is where you can find some very good stuff. The equipment here is very good for late normal mode, but the main thing here is the stat point crystal, which is dropped by the monster that looks like a girl holding a globe. One thing to note about the exclamation point and triple exclamation point zones is that the requirement to access these zones is much higher in hard mode. And the last zone I will be talking about, which can bring you to a secret area, is the exclamation point ? Zone. This zone can only be found in the grid at level 37,777, and once you find one, it's a 23% chance at actually getting the gate that will take you there, which is the same rate as getting the other secret areas. This zone takes you to the crystal map. This map is only one area but contains 6 bosses. They are all stat gem variations, and they can all drop their respective plus 4 and plus 5 stat gems, except for the middle boss. The middle boss is a rainbow crystal, and he's a bit stronger than the other crystals, but it does drop some of the best items in the game. And the last thing to note about the exclamation part question mark zone is that you will no longer be able to battle the 37,777 zone boss during that run, because it'll teleport you straight to heaven. This will take away a chance at getting the battle point ring. Other than that, guys, I know it was long-winded, but now that we've got the basics down, we can move on to bigger and better things. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to hit that like button, and if you're looking forward to more videos like this, subscribing will also allow you to get notifications when I upload. Also, if you have any feedback, send me a message or comment on this video because I will definitely make sure to take it all into consideration. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next episode of my Inflation RPG walkthrough.